Can Luke Clout finally get that breakthrough win here in 2025? Here tonight, the overall. He's been close. He just needs to hold it together. He is very quick. It was interesting watching the qualifying earlier on. It was back and forward between himself and Wilson for the fastest times. Well, he has to turn it around right now because it is race time. Gate's about to drop. He needs a good start for the inside. Can he do it? Oh, he gets a lot of wheel spin. Wilson sweeps to the inside and will come out in front.
What a start from Dean Wilson. He mentioned in the press conference that he's putting a huge emphasis on starts. We have not seen a whole shot come from that far out, and Phil Nicoletti was even on the outside of him. They're 1 and 2. Incredible.
Just perfect execution from the veteran Dean Wilson. Would you expect anything less? You see him jumping into that whoop section now, getting a little creative. This is where you want to be for the 15. You have 10 laps at the front of the race, and with the amount of intensity that you need to go out there and win this race, riding from the front is a huge advantage.
Remember we talked about that belief, that championship belief? That's it right there. That is it right there on display. Struggled in the heat race, made some mistakes, didn't qualify fastest earlier today. But when it's all on the line, little mistake right there, but when it's all on the line, Dean Wilson rises up.
Dean Wilson, Phil Nicoletti, after a tough round 2, they're in second place, and he's not letting Dean get too far away from him.
He's riding good at the moment. Look, Phil's a veteran, he's a great starter, and he's a great whoop rider as well. I think these conditions really suit him with 2 whoop sections on the track. Watch right next to the box, right on the inside. Dean Wilson gets a great jump. Phil Nicoletti kind of follows in him, and watch, this is the separator. Dean able to get that double out of that first turn.
And not able to sink into that pocket, gets up on the table, stays lower, and that's all she wrote.
My pay now, whole shot award to Dylan Walsh, who sits there in 4th place at the moment. Tanti right in behind him to the inside, a little bump at the elbows, and Tanti will move up 1 more position. Melross just in behind them, as to is Harrison. As they work their way through, that is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th at the moment. Clout starting to close down on Phil Nicoletti as he made the pass pretty early on in this one, but that battle between Walsh and Melross not organised just yet. And Harrison still trying to battle it out between these two as we still have 8 laps to go.
Walsh has gotten some great starts, really since the first gate drop in Redcliffe. He has put himself in great positions.
And you can tell watching, we have all the main players, 1 through 4, Dean Wilson, Phil Nicoletti, Luke Clout, Aaron Tanti, watching these guys right now trying to make up time on this track as Phil makes a big mistake. Luke Clout gets into 2nd place. Oh, this is going to get good for 2nd, JP.
Yeah, right up ahead of Dylan Walsh there. You see the Yamahas going at it right there. Luke Clout gets around Phil Nicoletti for 2nd place. Let's see if Clout can make a run, but Dean Wilson about a 4-second lead right now. That's a pretty comfy one.
Walsh there trying to keep in tow with these riders as this one rides away from the rest of the field. He is himself a 3.6-second lead at the moment as he rounds the left-hander. There is Clout, 2nd place, moving towards the whoops at the moment, up and over the wall jump, dodging the riders that have gone down in front of him.
We have lost Aaron Tanti. Aaron Tanti and Phil Nicoletti look like they got into it right behind Luke Clout. Nicoletti's still 3rd, but we've lost Tanti. He's down after the finish line. Unfortunate crash, but that start for Luke Clout, fastest in qualifying earlier today, was unbelievable. Him and Dean Wilson were just going back and forth for fastest on track. But that start, and Dean knew that. Dean knew that he had to get out front early, was able to make it happen.
And I think for Luke Clout right now, after the struggles that he had at the first couple rounds, being a lot of points down, for him right now, I think this would be a great result. You got to just start stacking some momentum as we've been talking about all night. Just as I say that, makes a big mistake there in the whoops, gets off through the tough blocks. He's able to keep it on 2 wheels.
Well, that was very close, coming together with those tough blocks as we see Harrison here with all the pressure to the back wheel of Walsh. Looks to the outside as he goes into this rhythm. Cedric Supercross has been sitting back there quietly, hasn't really been able to do anything in this final. He started a long way back, but really hasn't moved forward many positions.
A lot of these guys right now, to me, it looks difficult to make up time. So I think a lot of the passes are happening by guys capitalizing on mistakes.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that as Harrison tries to go up the inside of Walsh right there. And Nicoletti seems like he's coming back to him a little bit. He takes his arm off the bar, off the finish line. I'm not sure what's going on right there. But Phil typically really good in the whoops. Let's see if he has a good pass here.
Well, sometimes I think, especially for Phil Nicoletti right now in these short races, super easy to go out there and get arm pump. So maybe just getting a little relief from that.
Quick pass for the 86 machine of Harrison. He moves up one more position, gets past Walsh, as too does Subaros. And now Harrison, eye set on Phil Nicoletti, just there in front of him. Walsh still there, but starting to slip backwards at the moment, sits in 6th place and falling into the grasp of Melross, who's just behind them. All the while, our leader out to a 7.8 second lead. Wow, oh, how's the two Yamahas almost coming together there?
Yeah, there you see Nicoletti and Harrison going at it, allowing Cedric Suberes to get up alongside him. And this is a huge pass. If Cedric can get by these two, remember, he's second in the championship. He's only 16 points down on Dean Wilson, and he knows, we know as riders, as Nicoletti makes a big mistake right there. Suberes able to get around him.
And I've seen Phil Nicoletti's things start happening a little quick for the 29 right now, going backwards. So difficult when you start making mistakes in a race to kind of refocus, continue to focus on your process. And right now, Phil just needs to take a breath, get back to work.
Through the rhythm section, these riders starting to get into some of these lapped riders as they go towards the finish line. 2 laps to go as they are really starting to settle themselves into these positions. The gaps between them a little bit too big at the moment to really mount any kind of challenge. As we see on the left, the leaderboard, Wilson, Clout, Harrison on screen now in 3rd place. Subaros 4th. Those last couple of laps have been healthy for his championship points.
I think this is a big couple laps for Cedric Suberes. He needs to put some pressure on Harrison to send a message, because I do believe Harrison really, since the first 2 rounds at Redcliffe, he's looked a lot better today. And you just don't want your competitors to get more and more confidence to be able to get up there and get podium. So I think this is a big battle for the championship down the stretch. Not for the win, but for top 3 in the championship between Harrison and Suberes.
And we know how much talent Mitchell Harrison has. Had a great season in pro motocross in America, coming here, getting on the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha. Really talked to him in the press conference, really likes the motorcycle. It's his first trip here to Australia, so you know he's going to continue to get better. Right now running a solid 3rd.
Dean Wilson, final lap for the first of our finals. He has got himself an enormous lead as he negotiates his way through the last of these lapped riders before coming around to greet the checkered flag in just 2 turns time. Doubles his way through, keeps it nice and safe, stays well clear of any drama. A great way to start the night for the 15 machine. Extends out his championship lead and will pick up the first win of the night in the SX1.